Jungle Navigation Company, headquarters in Boathouse, 1940. Are you looking for excitement, adventure, tropical locations? Well, trek to the forgotten jungle outpost for your journey led by a trusty skipper through some of the world's most treacherous rivers. Embark on a cruise where hippos, elephants, and maybe even a headhunter await your arrival. During your journey, gaze at the wonders of nature amidst some of the world's most exotic locales. All this and more at Disneyland.
In the early days of creating Disneyland, Walt Disney and his Imagineering team had already had a plan to create separate lands to encompass different themes. Each of them would be so intricately designed that the guests would feel swept away into an entirely different realm. From the central hub, these areas would expand into lands like Fantasyland and Tomorrowland. But unlike these defined ideas, Adventureland lacked a certain definition and character. Its problem was that it was too broad, but Walt knew what he wanted to achieve. Walt Disney always wanted a land grounded in reality, where guests could experience the sensation of traveling to far-off destinations. He also wanted them to feel the spirit of adventure and see nature through their own eyes, and the best way to do so was to theme Adventureland to Walt Disney's True Life Adventure series. True Life Adventures were a documentary series that had already won the studio 8 different Academy Awards, and was the best brand to base an attraction off. The best part was, since it was an overarching series, they didn't need to rely on a specific story and could take the guests anywhere they wanted while still being faithful to the original idea. But what to actually do? The problem was that Disney didn't know exactly what he wanted. Originally, an experience was considered where guests could view live animals like in The African Lion. He brought the idea to designer Harper Goff, who eventually modified the plan to mimic one of the most popular movies of the time, 1951's The African Queen, starring Humphrey Bogart and Katharine Hepburn. The Jungle Cruise, much like the film The African Queen, would provide a riverboat cruise to the public featuring all the animal interactions that Walt wanted, while the skipper would perform as a protector and narrator during the ride. It was only after consulting animal experts they learned that the planned interactions would only be ignored by animals who would much rather sleep during the day or wander around their enclosures. Problem solving, they decided to go with the earliest audio animatronics to get the job done. Loving the idea and problem solving the animal situation, the attraction was greenlit to open with Disneyland in 1955, but its development didn't go without problems. While designers planned for the Jungle Cruise to operate as an actual boat ride, timing issues plagued the originally planned 10-minute ride to be 4 minutes. Because of this, show scenes wouldn't line up, and they determined that along with skipper retraining, they would need to put each Jungle Cruise boat on rails. This allowed the skippers to now just control the speed of their boats, but as one problem was solved, another seemed to pop up. Since the boats were now on rails, the water needed to be dyed green to hide the rails that would ruin the cruise experience for the guests. Only this made the animatronics malfunction. But in the end, the problems were solved and the attraction opened along with Disneyland to stellar reviews, although the rest of Disneyland's opening day heard otherwise.
Well, Walt, it seems to me we've been everywhere, haven't we?
Well, I hope so. I don't know.
Say, haven't we missed something?
Seems like it.
A whole land?
Adventureland.
Oh, that's my favorite. Let's go over there. Bob Cummings or somebody ought to be waiting to let us see that.
Oh, we better hurry. We haven't got much time.
Now, Walt was a very thick-skinned man, but that didn't mean that he didn't listen. He was a man to take guests' feedback and complaints personally, as he wanted to give the best experience possible to his guests. Now, during a random day at the park, he listened intently when he overheard a conversation between a mother and son who asked to ride the Jungle Cruise. His mother dismissed the idea, saying that they had ridden it before and that there was no point in going again. Little did she know that she had just challenged Walt. Learning that his park patrons were fickle, he realized that if something wasn't new and exciting, they would lose interest and wouldn't return. In this moment, a resonating theme for Disneyland and all the following parks was born. Disneyland will never be completed. It will continue to grow as long as there is imagination left in the world. With this bold new vision, Walt set out to overhaul the Jungle Cruise. By 1961, he had tasked Imagineer Mark Davis to reimagine what was already a park favorite. Known for his comedic style and characterized faces, as seen most notably in Pirates of the Caribbean and The Haunted Mansion, Davis went to work illustrating ideas for a new comedic version of the attraction. He overhauled the attraction for replay value as laughter is timeless. To accentuate the change, the serious and educational script of the original ride was changed to match the one we know and is the one that reopened to be the iconic attraction we know today. Now, although it had to be rethemed and rerouted for the Indiana Jones adventure, the Jungle Cruise has stayed relatively the same, and through it all, its spirit has remained pure. Because of Walt's commitment to guests, the Jungle Cruise has lived on for more than 60 years as it delivers millions of theme park guests puns aplenty while giving us a hilarious tour down the rivers of the world.
Alright guys, we're headed right into a waterfall. Brace yourselves, brace yourselves! Alright, we survived. We're down the Nile River that goes on for miles and miles and miles. If you don't believe me, you're probably in denial.
It's such a crowd favorite that it's since been replicated to many other Disney parks around the world, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Be sure to subscribe, give us a like down below, and comment on which attraction or show we should do next. And don't forget to keep up on our trip reports. We'll see you in the jungle, explorers!